Let me invite some people here. Bring my project up in here. Give me a second, y'all. I'll be right with y'all. Excuse me. Let me invite a few people in here. Welcome to Science Academy, by the way. There we go. Hey, what's up, Jillian? See what I got on today. Representing. Let me see if I can find a few random students walking around here. Sitting here at Austin Peay State University. And, you know, I just want to grab a few students. Hey, Tiffany. I want to grab a few. Welcome to Science Academy. I'm going to, you know, probably rap to a few students and ask them, you know, basically like what's the best proof that they have that we live on the globe. Let's see. Oh. Now I will admit I'm a little nervous because I've really never been on like done this in a large venue. But I guess once I get the first trip out, once I get my first street walk out the way, those the ones to come should be a bit easy. Class in session. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna need it. Let's see. If people start talking, give me a 1 or a 1 if you can hear them, and a 2 if you cannot. Because if y'all can't hear them, then I have to unplug my headphones. Let me see. Ooh, I see a group right down there sitting down. First shape there. You funny. Show some love, but oh, sorry. Sorry about that, Tiffany. I'll hit you up in the back chat. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug my headphones. All right, I better plug my headphones. Hey, how y'all doing, fellas? Great. Enjoying your little lunch? Eating some PJs? You ain't sharing? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I ate pretty good before I left the house. But yeah, I had a question, man. it's a theory going online and everything that it seems to be taking wildfire, right? And it seems like this theory has a whole lot of evidence to back up its science. So I came over here to ask y'all, and the theory is, that the Earth is flat. No, listen, hear me out. That the Earth is flat. That we're supposedly surrounded by a 360-degree wall in Antarctica that keeps all the oceans in. I mean, they've even showed pictures of this wall. That goes around the whole entire Earth, and that like this, like you see this, right? And the thing is, it has a whole bunch of evidence to back it up. So I came over here to ask y'all, like, what is y'all best proof to have me going back to believe that we live on the globe?
One, I'm going to go with, we've had people on the moon.
Okay.
Who have seen that it's not flat.
Okay.
Two, we have satellites that have seen it's not flat.
Okay.
Three, none of the other planets are flat. It only makes sense that, ours wouldn't either.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Are pool balls, are they spherical?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's able to play the tables that the table that the pool ball sit on, is that spherical or flat?
It's flat.
Okay, so a lot of people try to use that argument, but I'm like, people can look up in the stars and be like, Jupiter's is not flat, and Mars ain't flat. So that means that the ground that I'm sitting on, our pool table must not be flat as well. You see the rebuttal that leads into. Now, as far as the moon landing, we've done a lot of research. We went through all the footages. Not only did NASA lose over 40,000 reels, I mean, why would you not keep up with the greatest achievement for mankind, right? They lost, it's disappeared. Some say it was lost, some said it was erased or whatever. But when we look through all the evidence, we look at the intersecting shadows coming from one light source. Now you think about on the football field when they have all those light sources and you see everybody's shadow crossing each other, that's what you expect from multiple light sources. But when you look at the moon, their shadows intersect each other. Also, it seems that Neil Armstrong wasn't the first man to land on the moon. It seemed like his cameraman was, because the camera was already set up before he got out to the lunar module. See what I'm saying? And have you ever y'all like Red Hot Chili Peppers? Or y'all ever listen to them? You like them?
Yeah.
Well, you heard that song called "Space May Be the Final Frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. If you want these kind of dreams, it's California." They're telling you the truth, that basically the moon landing was shot in the basement, in a underground basement.
Yeah.
Now, as far
get my sources from a band, though. I don't know.
no, I mean I don't need it. We actually get our sources from experiments and observations that we've done all across the world.
Can I just ask you a quick question? What do you think is like underneath the Earth? Like, is it just a disk floating through space, or?
The thing is, we're not moving at all. We're flat and motionless. We're not.
Is it a disk?
And as far as that question, I don't know the answer, because the deepest somebody has dug is 8 miles. Which brings me to my next question: how do people know that we're spinning on top of an iron core 3,000 miles into the Earth when y'all can go research it, when the longest depth
for the iron core we got compasses. Like compasses work as a magnetic field.
Compasses, according to this map, point to the center.
If you are going off of that map,
Mm-hmm.
and how would you explain the gravity? Because as you get farther away from the center,
Mm-hmm.
and if it is spinning,
Mm-hmm.
then the gravity
Yeah, your
would
velocity would be a lot greater.
Your time zones would be different too.
spun off of it. How would you
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I say motionless, I mean we're not moving at all. We're not spinning. We're not a floating speck of meaningless dust in the cosmos that Neil deGrasse Tyson want to get y'all all to believe, to feel sorry for yourselves or whatever. You know, we none of that.
We're not
This,
moving about day and night.
oh yeah, the sun right here, right there, it's much smaller. It's not 5 million times bigger than the Earth. It's actually smaller. If you look at a lot of high altitude footages, you can see the hot spot directly over the clouds. You know, and on top of that, when you look at the sun, and the light shining through the clouds or whatever, they form crepuscular rays, which according to the heliocentric model, the sun is supposed to hit the Earth evenly. But when you trace the rays, you can trace exactly where the sun is at. You know, we've done experiments all around the world. We've even done curvature tests. Because we was like, nah, we finna prove this flat earth thing to be stupid or whatever. But every time we go around looking for curvature, there's none to be found. We've done curvature tests up to 13 miles. And according to the Pythagorean theorem, like the earth rotates once every 24 hours, right, at around 1,000 miles. So you get the circumference to about 24 to 25,000 miles. So when you break that down, that equals out to about 8 inches of curvature per mile when you square the mile. So after the first mile, it's 8 inches of curvature drop. 2 miles, 2 times 2 is 4 times 8 is 32 inches of curvature drop. After 3 miles, 3 times 3. After 4 miles, 4 times 4, and so on, and multiplying by 8. Right? Then since it's 12 inches to a mile, since it's 12 inches to a foot, you divide it by 12, and that gets how many foot of curvature you need. And we can see, like from Lake Michigan, we can see Chicago 60 miles straight across Lake Michigan, right? When it's supposed to be about 2,400 feet of curvers. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and a lot of people say that, you know, well, it was proven by math, but yet the curvature chart doesn't add up. When we can see, sometimes we can see islands from 100 miles in the distance. The Isle of Man can be seen from 190 miles with the naked eye. No telescope, no P900, anything. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be a lot of curvature. You're not even supposed to see it from 100 miles straight across. And then another proof, it said that water always lay flat. You know, like the soda in your bottle. You see how it's flat at the top? It takes the form of its container and then it lays flat on the top. So how if you look, when water is unmanipulated, look, when water is unmanipulated, whether it's in a sink, a bottle, a cup, a bathtub, it lays flat at the surface, right? Right?
But
So,
a large body of water.
huh?
A large body of water.
But that's still the natural physics of water. This third grade science. The water, when you learn the states of matter, the gas, solid, and liquid, they say that water is always level at the surface. So when you look at a river, which is also a pretty large body of water, the river is flat.
I'm pretty sure it's not completely flat. Like I'm pretty sure there's plenty of calculations. But like, still, we're talking about the magnetic poles, and you're like, well, it's always directed to the center. But scientists are predicting within, a few years, I mean, not long at all, the poles are going to flip, so everything's going to be pointing south. 'Cause that's how Earth's magnetic core works, because it's always rotating. The nickel inside the Earth and iron.
If it was always flat, why would there be tidal waves?
Oh yeah, an experiment has been done on that too. A tidal wave is caused by the electromagnetism that we're walking on, along with the salt that's in the water. They've done that. You can even look that up. That proves
Magnetism comes from, if not the Earth's core.
it comes from the North Pole. Don't get me wrong. The North Pole is magnetic. That's what makes the sun go above us. The sun and the moon goes above us. Which brings me to my next thing about the moon reflecting the sunlight. If the moon reflecting the sunlight, how come the moonlight temperature is colder than the sunlight? We've done experiments on that. Like when you stand directly in the moonlight, it's colder, but when you stand in the shade of the moon, it's warmer. The sun is the opposite. You stand in the sunlight, you're warm. Stand in the shade, you're cooler, or whatever. So that proves, for real, y'all can try. Feel free to try this experiment, but that proves that the moon gives off its own light. Now, what powers the moon? I'm not sure.
Stand in the dark of the moon.
Huh?
How you stand in the dark of the moon?
you know, like let's say if the moon is shining in your backyard and you stand directly in the moonlight that's shining over your backyard, you're gonna feel slightly cooler than if you was to stand on your porch. If you stand on your porch, you'll be cooler. Like, you know,
because you're in the open air instead of like on the porch where there's like less wind or no breeze.
your porch wouldn't even have to like really have no sidewalks or anything. You know what I mean? It can be like a patio or something. Really, but if you walk straight ahead into the moonlight, it'll be a little cooler. And if you take the temperature in the moonlight, you know, the temperature in the moonlight that I've seen, people have, it's been like, you know, maybe 40 degrees, 30 something degrees, but then they take the temperature of outside the moon, right beside it or whatever, outside of the moonlight, it might be about 2 or 3 degrees higher. You see what I'm saying?
Due to outside forces, due to like wind, natural air cooling that are out of their control, so they accounted for moonlight. That's what they think it is.
But what if the wind isn't blowing and it's still temperature?
It's still natural air, and you can't predict weather or anything like that accurately. So no matter what,
I agree with that. I do agree with that because of the weather forecast. People have been wrong horribly when telling us, you know, a thunderstorm coming and we sitting here with our umbrellas and sweating, waiting on the rain. But and the thing is, there really hasn't been any experiment because me and a lot of us, we live by the scientific method to the fullest. And the thing is, we've looked and looked and looked, and there's no experiment really to prove the globe. There's no experiment to prove that water can curve to the outside of the exterior of any object without falling off.
Yes, gravity. That's a basic function of the universe that's everywhere.
You can do an experiment with static friction if you have just like a water stream, like from a faucet or something. You have something that has a positive charge, or I don't remember, negative charge, different charge in the water. It'll actually curve towards the object using static friction or whatever force it's using.
Yeah, but that's being manipulated though. That's when you manipulate the water. But I'm saying
it's manipulating the oceans with its magnetic force.
You think?
Gravity.
But the thing about gravity really has never been proven. As far as I know, it's only density.
I mean, we're all standing.
It's only because you're heavier than the air around you.
I'm heavier.
Just like helium balloons, you can release.
Well, now you're getting on density. It was totally different from.
No, that's what I'm saying. When anything that's heavier than the air around it is gonna automatically fall. You know, anything lighter than the air is gonna rise. There's really no gravity involved on flat Earth.
Okay. Well, if you're talking about density, gravity still affects, but density is not affected by gravity. So when you put a helium balloon, it's surrounded by air, which is more dense than the helium itself, and the helium rises until it gets to that equilibrium between gravity and density, which is the out of space, and then. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you, what if I fill the balloon halfway helium and half regular air, and it doesn't float or sink?
Well, that's because the density is the same inside the balloon as outside the balloon.
No, I'm saying wouldn't gravity? But gravity says that all masses, everything with mass is supposed to attract each other.
Yeah, but then you go
right.
Then you go to a third law of Newton, and it's every action is equal and opposite reaction. So you have inside the balloon the helium on top, and it's less dense as the other whatever you filled it half with air. So it's sitting on the top. It's pulling the balloon up, but the rest of it, the more dense stuff is pulling it down, and that's literally just an equilibrium between gravity and helium. It's just, yeah.
That's what causes it to levitate. Like you can move it and it'll stay. You can move it here, it'll stay. You can.
Yeah.
Okay, I might actually look into that.
That's what density is. Maybe. Mass life of water.
Let's see. Shut up, Carlos. Anybody ask you nothing?
I've heard
So,
the theory of
what's that?
explaining for Earth's gravity since it's flat or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
of it being a disk and it's just moving up at 10 meters.
From the Flat Earth Society,
Yeah.
we don't fool with them. They purposely give out wrong information so people won't go out and research any further. So they won't go out and do their own research, their own experiment. I mean, I've exposed the Flat Earth Society for being government oppositions, and I know what y'all thinking, and I know what y'all thinking. You know, why would the government lie to us about where we
I know they
live?
lie. Everyone knows the government lies. They have to.
Yeah, and people want to know, like, why would they lie? Why is everybody in on it? And my thing is this: if space is real, if our imagination is so far into space that it's real, why do we always catch NASA faking space? Why when in their spacewalks they claim it to be their live spacewalks, we see bubbles flashing from their helmets coming from their helmets. You see what I'm saying? When we watching some of their interviews from the ISS, they forget to mask out the harnesses that's keeping them looking like, pretending like they're in zero gravity, in a zero G.
Them attached to the
No, it's hanging from above. It's like one of them, like you probably seen behind the scenes of Hollywood movies when they in green screen, they got the harnesses. It's different type of harnesses. You got some to go over your chest, some going around your waist, some just align with your side. So if you ever see them, they're sitting like this because they don't want to bump into the wires that's on their side. If you ever see them, you know, and that's what I try to get people to understand. Like, if space is real, why does NASA have to fake it? I mean, they taking $50 million a day, and we believe they're not giving us real science. You know, especially following the scientific method, and they can't give us any experiments that we can perform ourselves, because up there supposedly they're in zero gravity, so their experiments can kind of be manipulated. So it's not an experiment if you and I can't repeat it. You know, like making water flow through the air or something, you know, or squeezing a rig.
Well, the difference between the reason why we can't experiment a lot of that stuff is because, you know, NASA has a budget of $50 million a day, like you said, and we
are definitely not.
And yeah, and I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not trying to crush our dreams or nothing, but it's just something that really to look into because we want people to learn the truth. And when you actually look into it, when you actually like look into it and just, I mean, with an open mind and a critical eye, then you'll realize, you'll be like, you know what, maybe this could be true. Let me look into it further, because when I first came across the whole thing, I mean, I thought it was stupid. I went about a couple of months, and they kept on popping up. Related topics kept on popping up until I seen how they faked the moon landing. And then you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, if they faked the moon, if they lied to me and to you and to everybody about the moon landing, what else could they be lying about? Could they actually be lying about the shape we live on? So that's what made me go back and start looking at all the, you know, the flat earth videos and experiments and stuff that people was doing, you know. And
there's someone much smarter than us on this topic, at least. Have you ever heard of Vsauce?
Oh yeah, we debunked every video he ever made.
Did you see the Is Earth Flat one? He was unbiased on it. He only gave facts on it. Facts on both sides.
Are you talking about the one clip when he said, try to throw gravity into the flat earth thing, and said that if you run up sideways? See, that's the logic that the Flat Earth Society put out there. That's why we don't fool. That's why we don't fool with you.
Well, he talks about other theories that you've come up with so far. So I'm sure that if you pay attention to, like, or if you watch his videos, discussed it with like him or someone associated with him, he could provide more facts on these things.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a bunch of facts I want to know from a college student. Huh? I know, but y'all made it this far. You know what I'm saying? Y'all made it this far to college. What's up?
How you were saying Lake Michigan, Chicago?
Lake Chicago. You can see Chicago skyline. Yes.
Yeah. Skyline. So it's raised up, right?
Hmm?
Are you talking about like the top of the skyline?
No, you can see the buildings. The buildings, they're 60 miles across. You can see all the buildings like standing straight up and down. They're not leaning according to the curvature chart. They're supposed to be leaning back. Since we supposed to be on the ball, they're supposed to be leaning away from you, but they're standing straight up 60 miles with no curvature drop. The tallest building,
That's a long distance.
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's also the point of view.
Yeah, the curb's gonna take a
curve,
long
the
time, wouldn't it?
not for 2,400 feet. Imagine this sidewalk is 2,400 feet long, and you curve it. You know what I'm saying? You stretch it into a curve or whatever. It was even a chart that showed how the building's supposed to look. But when you stretch it and then you put it in front of the Sears Tower, 2,400 feet, the Sears Tower only standing at 180 feet. 2,400 feet is supposed to swallow that 180 foot building. You see what I'm saying?
A little bit, but like,
Yeah.
say there weren't buildings weren't there, and you were able to see the land, right? The land itself. If it was flat, wouldn't you be able to see
All the way?
further? Yeah, like
Wouldn't you be able to see like the end?
I mean, with no obstructions, yes, but you also got to consider the atmosphere. Let's say the farther you look out, depending on the day or the weather conditions, of course. But a lot of times, the farther you look out, you know what I'm saying, the atmosphere is going to get thicker and thicker. I mean, and truthfully, I mean, you really can't see forever. You can't see, you know what I'm saying, 1,000 miles or 2,000 miles across. But a lot of weather conditions, you are able to see like the Isle of Man from 150 to 190 miles out. You are able to see the Statue of Liberty from 60 miles away from New York, and 40 miles away from New York, and the Statue of Liberty only stands about just a little over 300 feet above sea level, and at 40 miles, that's around a good 2,000 feet. They're supposed to swallow. The curvature is supposed to swallow the Statue of Liberty. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know the exact distance of the Earth. Kind of out of my zone.
Then you look at it's another one too that proves her chart to be wrong. I mean, it's so many. Oh, what at the Rogers Center in Toronto? I think on Lake Superior or something. You can see 40 miles across, and the Rogers Center is only about 280 something feet. You know, this is where the Toronto Blue Jays play, right? This is only about a little over 200 feet tall. But from 40 miles away, you can see it straight across the lake. When it's supposed to be about 600 to 700 feet of curvature, so you're not even supposed to see it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when we say the Earth is flat, not because it might have an edge, because everything, if you think about it, everything flat doesn't have an edge, but everything flat could possibly have a wall, like your living room floor, your bathroom floor. Yes, it's flat, but where's the edge? You might run into a wall. You know, you be like, the edge there, you try to find it, you run into a wall. Yeah, that's the whole point. It might flatten and we have a wall, eventually you'll run into the wall.
But we don't.
Huh?
We don't.
I know you don't, because the compass is always going to lead you to the center. It's always going to lead you.
Like on that map, you head left, you're gonna end up on the right.
I mean, I'm upside down, of course. I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Where's the wall? How do you end up on the other side? You know?
yeah, I got people up there. Have you ever heard of the Antarctic Treaty? It prohibited us from going over there to explore ourselves to see if there's more land. Admiral Byrd, he came back in the 40s or 50s and said that he had sailed here, right? And he said that he assured us that there's more land on the other side of Antarctica, land that's never been discovered by man. So a couple of years later, they passed an Antarctic Treaty that keeps anybody from going there unless you're some type of government official or some certified scientist to go there. I mean, that seems strange, right? He didn't.
Because it's dangerous and cold.
I mean, in that case, why not? Why don't they block off, you know, parts of Alaska and stuff? It gets just as cold up there in the winter too. You know.
Are you waiting for Portland at the classification?
But yeah, you know, this you know, I just wanted to come to talk to a few students or whatever and let y'all know definitely I would definitely look into it. Y'all can start with 200 proofs. Earth is not a spin bomb. Or you can just type 200 proofs and, you know what I'm saying, Google or YouTube will fill in the blanks for you, just 200 proofs. And this guy, Eric DeBay, he mentions a bunch of scientists that proved Einstein to be wrong. Well, I should say challenged him, right? He mentions Nikola Tesla. He mentions have y'all ever heard of the Michelson-Morley experiment? Okay. Have y'all ever heard of the Michelson-Gale experiment? You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't either. I didn't learn about them till last year because they don't teach these smart, intelligent scientists in schools. They don't teach them in college. They leave them out because they don't want people to question. Don't want none of y'all to come back and question. You know, well, why we learn about Einstein, but we didn't learn about you know this guy that proved relativity to be false. You know. I mean, don't y'all want to learn the truth? So y'all can grow up and teach y'all kids the truth so they can think for themselves and.
Well, you already know what I'm thinking is the truth here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as far as the scientists that they leave out of the textbooks, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm a science geek, man. I used to watch the Cosmos every Sunday with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Anytime NASA had an interview, I was always all up in the TV screen, you know. I was a science geek. I mean, I still am, but I like real science. I like true science, science that doesn't cut any corners. Science where if your experiment fail, document it so we can pick it up, read where they failed at, and then try to see, you know, how possible could they fail. You know, it's like don't throw out a failed experiment and then try to change the math, to change the number around to make the experiment or the math fit your theory. That's not science. That's pseudoscience. That's not the scientific method at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Question: Why would you start with college students and not like a college professor?
I have. We've actually had college teachers and professors on the podcast that, you know, come to defend the globe, but a lot of the information that came, we just regurgitated the information that was taught to them, probably that they teach their student, you know, because I used to be the same thing. Like I said, I'd be like, no, they wouldn't lie to us. Why would they lie to us? And then I see, you know, because when the truth comes out, and it will, when the truth finally come out, it's going to be a lot of college students that went into debt, learning their lives, you know.
Hey, man.
And eventually it will. I know you heard about a lot of these celebrities coming out. We really don't trust the celebrities anyway. I mean, who really takes a celebrity seriously when they say that the earth is flat? But you know, if Beyonce come out and say that she having twins, everybody takes that very seriously. You know.
I mean, kind of prove that she's pregnant pretty easily, you know, because she'll have the kids 10 months later. But, I mean,
I know what I'm just saying. It's the blog. It was like the talk of the thing, man. You know, the baby Beyonce's baby so cute, but B.O.B. or Shaq or somebody come out and be like, the earth is flat. Oh man, it's stupid. Oh man, this stupid. But if they come out and be like, man, I'm having a baby with Beyonce, everybody eat it up. It's just the way the media has programmed us, you know. It's like news, negative energy while sleeping. Because a lot of people really have to be asleep to believe anything that they say on the news, you know. That's why I don't watch the news. We got rid of our cable. We don't even watch TV like that, you know. Because it was just a bunch of bad juju and stuff, you know. But it was I just came over here, you know what I'm saying, to rap to y'all or whatever, to just to get y'all thoughts, you know. But I definitely would. I mean, even if y'all just want to laugh, be like, man, I finna prove this dumb theory wrong. you know, just look at the 200 proofs as a joke. You know, maybe go to a frat party or something, have a drink or two. It just be like, hey man, y'all want to see this bullshit? You know, it might be something to laugh about. But he mentions a bunch of people. August Picard, first man to go into the stratosphere. Have y'all ever heard of him? I didn't either till last year. First man to go 55,000 feet into the stratosphere. He built his own gondola, and he said that the Earth seemed flat with an upturned edge. So I'm thinking it's just the upturned edge he was talking about, you know.
I'm still confused on the wall.
Yeah,
What happens when you hit that wall?
it's about 200 feet. You can climb the wall, but you're gonna have nothing but hundreds, if not thousands, of miles of snow to cross across, to traverse across. The wall on top of the wall, it's more land. It's like snow. You know, if you can find somebody or.
How do you cross, you know?
Tell me how you cross the wall. I get.
People can sail from Asia to the other side of America.
Going east or west, yes. But has anybody ever circumnavigated from north to south or south to north?
No, because America's on the west. Why don't you go north to go west?
Because it's a ball. It's constant curvature. If you can go east to west, you should be able to go. You should be able to go north to south, north to south.
If you're in a place that has no landmass, then yeah.
You know, it's landmass east to west too, though. It's landmass east to west too.
There's a wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cover it because it's a flat disc.
Which,
right?
yeah. That's my point. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? That's why people couldn't go north to south because of the wall. If this wall wasn't there and if we really lived on a spinning ball, you should be able to go north to south.
I mean, there's literally nothing stopping from someone from going north to south in an airplane or anything.
But if there's a wall that's stopping you from going west to east. Yeah.
But there's never been though. We've looked at flight paths, we looked at sailing paths, sail routes, cruise routes, or whatever, and all the routes always go from east to west. They don't go because east to west.
Because when you have two poles that get down to like negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit, no one's gonna go there.
You can't sell.
So
I'm trying to go Titanic out here. Just trying to get to India, you know.
This is like Christopher Columbus. They say that Christopher Columbus discovered America, right?
Well, not America. Yeah.
I'm just saying he found America. He discovered America, but when he got here, there was already people living here. So that right there, common sense should tell people that he did not discover America. Somebody else.
40,000 years ago, Native Americans crossed Bering Strait that froze between Russia and Alaska.
Yeah.
So they've been living here their whole lives, and they can't. And domesticated animals. So that's
what I'm saying. So apparently, somebody found it before him in order for them to start civilization here. You know, just like me go to your house and be like, man, I found your house, and you be like, man, I've been living here for 16 years. What you mean? You see what I'm saying?
It's just geography divided. I mean,
if we never came to America, it wouldn't have been like a big discovery because it would have been the same traditions over and over again. We're bringing new cultures and all this, which is going to enhance the whole society.
So you're saying like they were placed there? They weren't there before?
You're talking about the
Native Americans?
Yeah, they discovered it technically.
So
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if this was the land that they first seen, or if they came from across, or came from somewhere else to there. But the point is like he took credit for something that somebody else had already discovered.
That's the running joke about Columbus.
You know what I'm saying?
Americans were here first.
Yeah, it's like you can't take claim. Now you can be like, hey, I discovered people in that land, then but you don't sit there and claim a land and then get a holiday for your discovery when you didn't even discover the place.
That's kind of why they call them natives.
You see?
Yeah. Christopher Columbus himself, like we all know that he never discovered. He was a bad sailor. First off, like he was gonna go to India east, and he ended up going west.
Did you know that he was a Freemason?
He was a what?
He was a Freemason.
Really?
Yeah. him, Isaac Newton, Copernicus, they were all Freemasons. And if you look at how the Freemasons deceive everyone and control everything, they control everything: the banks, the food, the agriculture, the colleges, the schools. They control everything.
Have you
And
seen the Freemasons in Clarksville today?
have I seen any?
Yeah.
Not today, no. I have seen a few around here though.
There's a Mason and the Eastern Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no control here. It's funny. It's remember Mr. Grimes in high school? He's a Mason. Yeah, they have no.
Believe it or not, they do. Now, it's so many degrees of Freemasons. What I'm talking about is like the 32nd and 33rd degrees, the Scottish Free Riders or whatever. Now, the Masons that's under them, they're really not going to question the higher up. Because, you know what I'm saying, like, why would you question your boss and end up losing your job, especially if it's a logical question, you know?
Yeah, it's about
But yeah, but y'all go ahead and have a good day, man. It was just something to open y'all mind up a little bit, you know?
Nah, I'm pretty set in my ways.
That's cool.
By the way, man,
What's up?
I don't think any of us give you permission to post our faces online, by the way.
Oh, okay. I won't.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Thank you. Nigga, they ain't body bag shit. I had a question with a question. But guess what? Look, the difference between me and you is I actually listen. I actually listened. And then I got and then when they got done with their question, then I gave a response. So, once again, a point for flat earth. The globe is done. It can't be proven, never been proven. And I'm out.